Ride in the dark, brave the mazes. Fright Nights at Thorpe Park. The island changes after dark.
Following the opening of Colossus in 2002, the theme park changed the game even further that same year with the launch of the first ever Fright Nights. Thorpe Park Fright Nights has become one of the most successful horror events in the UK, with the park making the majority of its yearly revenue around this exciting time of year. Halloween in the United Kingdom has become big business, and a visit to Thorpe Park's Fright Nights is a must-do if you're a horror fan of any description. Immersive horror mazes and escape rooms, roaming actors and nighttime rides on some of the best roller coasters in the country. When it first opened in 2002, it had two major attractions, Freak Show 3D and a horror maze called The Freezer, which to this day horror enthusiasts still rave about.
It's cold in there.
So cool, it's scary. The Freezer, this fall.
Every year, the island, like no other, undergoes some pretty dark changes. Fright Nights has become the park's biggest event of the year, with guests flooding the island for night rides on iconic attractions such as Stealth, Saw the Ride and Swarm. But it's also a chance to run through what sometimes become legendary scare mazes, which have got bigger and bigger every year.
My name's Desiree. Welcome to our safe haven. It's so nice to see you. You come on and follow me. We're gonna get you all settled in. If I can't see her, she can't see me. Get her out!
The first ever Fright Nights ran for just 4 nights and featured 2 mazes. There was also a scare zone between the 2 mazes, and of course it was a chance to experience the rides at night. As the event got bigger and bigger, other content was added, including film screenings and even a freak show called Carnival of the Bizarre. In 2005, the Freezer was changed and renamed the Asylum, but Freak Show 3D became a whole new maze called Hellgate. By this point, Fright Nights was running for 11 nights of the year. In 2006, the Scare Maze 7 was added, and the park had fully embraced this idea of night rides, scares and fear. It got bigger and bigger, and more elaborate mazes were created sometimes based around mouth-watering intellectual properties and brands. 2010 was a landmark year all round for Thorpe Park. The maze Saw Alive was added to the park. Until quite recently, it was still open for Fright Nights. Other mazes from the past included the much-loved Cabin in the Woods, My Bloody Valentine, The Curse, Dead End and Experiment 10. Not forgetting The Passing, Studio 13 and of course Blair Witch. Fright Nights now runs for over 23 nights of the year. In 2018, I caught up with Nick Hutson, who had been tasked with creating some new music for the event. What are your first ever memories of Thorpe Park Fright Nights?
There were two ways I can answer this. My first being a time when I didn't like scare mazes, and I remember standing at the top of Depth Charge and looking over, and I met this fanboy, and he said, they're doing this maze, they're doing that maze, and I said, never for me, I'm never going to do it. My first proper memory was with my friend Lee, and he dragged me to Thorpe Park Fright Nights the year the Lionsgate stuff appeared, which was 2013, I believe, and I just fell in love with it. That was the first scare mazes I ever did. Cabin in the Woods was amazing, Blair Witch Project, My Bloody Valentine, and Saw, they were all, really, really fun mazes. I just remember the joy and laughter that came out of doing mazes with a really good group of friends. So it's nice that 5 years on, I'm part of the creative team, which is fabulous.
What was your favourite maze over the years?
I remember coming out of Cabin in the Woods and turning to Michael Bolton, I think it was, and just saying, is it me or is this maze actually genius? And he said, it's genius, it's done stuff that's never been done before. For those of you that don't know, it was the first free-flow maze that you could go any direction you want. It had a hidden room in the middle, like those of you who've seen Cabin in the Woods will know it has the control room, so you can go in there and press buttons and it triggered things that happened in other parts of the mazes. You didn't have to have the hands on the shoulders of the person in front of you, so it felt a lot more open and a lot more intense. And the same with My Bloody Valentine, it was a free-flow maze, and now everyone does them, so bravo to Thorpe for that.
And tell us about your involvement in 2018 Fright Nights. You've been working on something for quite a while.
Yes, well, I have been responsible for all the new audio that is going in to Fright Nights this year. We've got an emissions track, we've got a bridge track, we've got a Lost City track, we have a jungle track, we've got the all new maze audio for the 3 new mazes, so Blair Witch Project, Dead Creek Woods and Vulcan Peak. We've got a new WWTP, which is very, very exciting. That was the most fun I've ever had, and we put lots of theme park celebrities in. For example, Mike Collins from Coastal Radio is hosting WWTP. He is Big Bob. We've got Tim and Jen Tracker, they make a cameo. Robert Coker and Doug Barnes from the Season Pass podcast, they're all in there. So it's a kind of who's who of the American world of theme park vocal celebrities. And we've put some old classics from WWTP, and we put some new ones. It gets a bit dark at certain points, which is quite amusing. And yeah, it's just a really, really great project to be involved with.
WWTP Cape Radio News.
You poor souls in the Marlin Bay County area will definitely now be aware that fear has indeed taken over. There is no hope nor escape from the cove, and survival seems futile. Townspeople are fleeing for their lives in the hope that their souls won't be entirely decimated. That said, the sun is shining, and you're listening to the Big Bob Jones All-Day Radio Show.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath, long about a Saturday night. Yeah, jumped up, was relaxing in the tub, thinking everything was alright. Well, I took my troubles down the back.
The first time I'd read about Fright Nights was in 1991, when Universal Studios in Florida launched their own event. What started as a Halloween party for them to boost attendance figures became Fright Nights and led to the now incredible Halloween Horror Nights. Ten years later, Thorpe Park in the United Kingdom followed their lead to some degree and have created a phenomenal seasonal event that is set to thrill and terrify visitors for years more to come. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed what you've seen, please don't forget to subscribe.